I'm Jack with Jacked Up Finance, and this is your water cooler for the week of August 24th in 5 minutes or less. First off, let's talk about hiring. So the headline graph or metric here is 20% of hiring managers expect to decrease their hiring over the next 6 months, up slightly from 19% 6 months ago, and a significant jump from only 11% in Q2 2024. So just generally speaking, this is a survey of chief human resource officers, so heavily involved with hiring, and they think hiring over the next 6 months are going to decrease massively. So definitely not great for the workforce. Next kind of questions are, why do they think this is going to be happening? So this is kind of a separate article. They kind of highlight caution and strategy. So specifically for caution, I think they're just kind of thinking the macro environment with the tariffs. Companies are concerned about that, just want to be cautious with the expenses in their workforce. But I think the second one is pretty interesting as well. It's talking about strategy. So it's saying these companies might be leaning on automation and existing teams to manage their workloads. So strategy meaning maybe they're investing in AI, automation, machine learning to improve efficiencies so that they just need less workers overall. But I kind of see these as it's either caution or strategy. So what do y'all think? Where do y'all think the job market is going to be in the next 6 months? Do you think it's going to keep slowing like this suggests? Or do you think we might see kind of a recovery? And secondly, why do you think that's going to happen? If you think it's going to keep going kind of poorly, do you think it's due to caution? Do you think it's due to strategy? Or do you think it's something else? Or do you think the job market's going to be great? Next, let's talk about the box office. So essentially here what we're seeing is kind of the headline here is early hopes that grosses could top $4 billion this year have fizzled. So I think unsurprisingly here we're seeing kind of just movies aren't doing as well. I think the movies this summer, I think some of them did well. I think the Fantastic Four actually had a pretty strong start, but then kind of fizzled off. I think Superman actually did very well. But again, just generally speaking, if we look at the graph, it just hasn't really recovered too much. So even in 2023, it went to $4 billion. So that was kind of the watermark post-COVID. And this season doesn't look like it's going to hit that. So why do you think that's happening? Why do you think movies just aren't as popular now? And do you think it's going to change? Do you think it's just because of streaming? Do you think streaming is kind of eating away at the box office? Do you think it's the quality of the movies? Do you think it's the quantity of the movies? Just generally speaking, why do you think movies aren't kind of where they used to be? One thing I've noticed, and it's definitely not a unique take, is I've definitely been seeing a lot more sequels. So it seems like Hollywood is either unwilling or unable to produce an original movie now. And sometimes they still do, but even in this chart, you can see Jurassic World. We're seeing like another Fantastic Four reboot. So it just seems like there's a lot of sequels right now. But why do you all think the movies continue to miss? Why do you think the box office kind of missed this year? Do you think it's quality, quantity, or do you think they just need some better ideas? Lastly, unsurprisingly, let's talk about Cracker Barrel. So essentially what happened here is they did a full brand refresh. One item that's super important is it's not just the logo. If you kind of read this section here, customers have also complained on social media about the interior redesign, saying the new decor favors a more sterile and modern style. So the logo did in fact change. So essentially here you see kind of the barrel and the man being removed, as well as Old Country Store. And now this is the new logo. And again, it seems like generally speaking, they're redoing their restaurants as well. This isn't just a logo update. They're redoing their restaurants to make them a little bit more, according to this, sterile. According to Cracker Barrel, they might say it's more fresh or revitalized. I think this is interesting. I think this has also become a pretty political touch point here. I know there's some tweets going on about this. That aside, I just think whenever a company takes away what makes them unique, it's not good for their brand. I think Cracker Barrel, what made them unique was it was kind of a fun country, old country store. But what they've done with this is it seems like they're kind of taking away what made them unique. My fear is by doing this, by creating this super sterile logo and interior, they're just going to become like everything else. They're going to become like a Ruby Tuesdays or just anything else, or a Chili's. And Chili's is actually doing great. But the point is, I think companies need to stay unique. They need to stay who they are, and that's how they can have the best success. But this is your weekly roundup. Hope this was helpful. Be curious to kind of see where you see HR hiring going over the next 6 months, what you think about Cracker Barrel's reboot, and what do you think about the movies. Do you think movies can recover, or do you think streaming have just taken it away for forever? Hope this was helpful. Hope you have some great topics for this week, and I'll see you in the next one.